Today we're going to take a look at the 2022 Honda CRF50F. We'll talk about where this 49cc dirt bike fits into the current trail bike lineup, and we'll go over what Honda changed for this year, plus its specs and features. And we'll start it up and show you what this animal of a motorcycle sounds like, and a lot more. But first, if you guys find any info in this video helpful, please take a second and hit the like button. Liking the video and commenting below really helps with growing this channel through YouTube's algorithm, and I really appreciate the help. So first up, where does the CRF50 fit into Honda's current trail bike lineup? The first thing to keep in mind when looking at Honda's dirt bikes is that last letter after the engine size in their model name, as that tells you what it was designed for. The F models are Honda's regular, run-of-the-mill models that don't have a ton of performance behind them, but with that, they also have the least amount of maintenance you'll need to worry about and cheaper price tags too. And with that being said, let's quickly run through these models and then we'll dive more into this bike specifically. The CRF50F starts the lineup off with an MSRP of $1649, and then you jump into the CRF110F, which starts the fuel-injected models, but it still has a semi-auto clutch like the 50, and it comes in at $2499. Then you have the CRF125F, which is where you get into a real clutch at $3249, and then the big wheel version of that 125 that bumps you up to $3649. And then last but not least, we have the largest F model, and that's the CRF50F at $4749. And if you're unlucky enough to live in one of those sticker states, thankfully all of these are green sticker compliant, as is the CRF450X, but who knows how much longer that'll last. I want to take a quick second and say thank you to Southern Honda Power Sports for opening their doors to me and allowing me to come pick through their inventory for these videos. They are a massive Honda Power Sports dealer here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with tons of inventory from new Hondas to used Harleys and everything in between that they sell to people from all over the USA. So check out the link in the description below and head over to their website to see if they can save you some money on your next toy. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into some more info on the CRF50. Do you have any options when buying this bike? Nope. What you see here is what you get. So what did Honda change for 2022? Two things. We have a $50 price increase from last year, bringing it up to $1649 now, and they also threw red plastics at it and matching graphics so it looks like Honda's current day race bikes. And now let's jump into the chassis and suspension. It has a kid-friendly layout with a high tensile steel frame and reinforced A-frame style swing arm with a super low 21.6 inch seat height and a narrow 4.3 inch wide seat to help little ones get their feet on the ground. And these frames can take an absolute beating. Us grown men that haven't really grown up use these as pit bikes and race them around, putting them through abuse a kid will never come close to touching. So long story short, these little things are like tanks. So I wouldn't worry too much about your little guy damaging this platform. And your curb weight comes in at 111 pounds, and that's with the 0.7 gallon fuel tank topped off that includes a 0.2 gallon reserve. The wheelbase is nice and short at only 35.9 inches while having 6 inches of ground clearance, and its total length is only 51.3 inches with its width coming in at 22.9 inches. When it comes to suspension, you have an inverted telescopic fork that brings in 3.7 inches of travel with no adjustability, and in the rear you have a single shock with 2.7 inches of travel. And that's all attached to a set of cast aluminum hubs with 28 spoke 10 inch wheels and 2.5 by 10 tires wrapped around them. They're probably the longest wearing tires in existence, and if you've had one of these bikes then you know what I'm talking about. And stopping those wheels are a set of drum brakes front and rear. Now let's get into the legendary engine and drivetrain combo behind this bike. It has a 49cc air-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke single overhead cam engine. This 2-valve setup is packing a 10:1 compression ratio and is super easy to kickstart, as this bike does not come with electric start like all of the other F models. It has a maintenance-free CD ignition and an automatic cam chain tensioner as well to make life a little easier on you. Sadly, it's still carbureted unlike every other CRF, but taking care of that duty is an 11mm piston valve carburetor. You also have a closed crankcase ventilation system to help safeguard against engine oil contamination. And hands down, this is one of the most reliable engines that's ever rolled off Honda's production line. This package is so reliable and has been for so many decades, it's been copied more times than your smart friend's homework back in high school thanks to
China.
And now when it comes to changing gears, it has a 3-speed transmission with an automatic clutch. Now what does that mean exactly? There's no clutch to worry about stalling out or teaching your kids how to use, so taking off is super simple. You have your shifter on the left side with all the way down being neutral and then up through your 3 gears. Just click up and down and don't worry about using the clutch because it's an auto clutch that takes care of everything on its own. And another way to slow it down other than by what gear it's in is by the adjustable throttle limiter that's on the throttle housing. You can cut the bike down to where it'll barely crawl if you wanted to. Plus, it has a keyed ignition so you can take away their fun time and not have to worry about them firing it up and sneaking off when you're not around. When it comes to performance numbers, it's pumping out a whopping 3 horsepower and 2.5 foot-pounds of torque. And per usual with all of the F models, there's not much to do when it comes to maintaining this engine, as you can see here from the maintenance schedule in the owner's manual. And now let's start this little cold-blooded bike up and see what it sounds like, and then we'll come back for a few more things. And that's the 2022 Honda CRF50F, which is, in my opinion, the best 50cc dirt bike on the planet. They aren't cheap by any means, and that makes some people go in different directions and try out some of those knockoffs and so on. Now, I'm not knocking them by any means, but if I had $1 for every customer over the years that went and bought one of those paperweights only to come back and buy a Honda, I'd have some extra change in my pocket for sure. Even if you have to buy a 10 to 15-year-old used Honda CRF or XR50, I'd go that route any day of the week. Plus, once you're done with it, you can turn around and get most, if not all of your money back due to the CRF50's resale value, and that can't be said with knockoffs. Trust me, the odds are in your favor that it will save you many headaches when your kid wants to ride and you're trying to track down the problem and find parts for it or somebody that can work on it and so on. Now, if you like to wrench on things though and are very mechanical, I'm not necessarily talking to you as you're an outlier. I'm also not saying all knockoffs on the market are quote-unquote bad bikes to buy. I just want to remind you to look at the big picture, as I've seen the headaches day in and day out for 15 years. I'm getting sidetracked though and didn't mean to keep on rambling this much, but here we are. Long story short, if you're looking for the best small dirt bike to get your kid or the best pit bike on the planet next to the 110, this is it. Is it perfect? No, of course not. Could Honda stand to change some things and really update this bike, as it's been a long, and I mean very long time since it's had any true upgrades thrown its way? Of course. I would love to see them throw fuel injection at it, electric start, and better suspension, and the list goes on. But I don't think we'll be seeing that anytime soon, as it's a fine line to walk with upgrading this platform while still keeping the price down. But that's all just my opinion. What do you guys think about the new changes Honda threw at the CRF50? And what do you think about the bike in general? Also, what do you think Honda needs to change next on this platform? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below, and I'll be joining in on the conversation too. But that's a wrap for this one, guys. Thanks again for all the support lately. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.